Hey guys, Chris here. So, a couple of you guys, I really appreciate. I just want to start off by saying I really appreciate all the feedback, and negative and positive, because anything I can do to improve on these videos and reach more people and try to help them with what they're trying to do, I'm happy to accommodate as best I can. I'm trying to remember to wear the microphone. I'm wearing it right now so you guys can hear me clearly. And hopefully, this camera is going to suffice. I'm going to do some close ups for you because that was mentioned to me as well. I'm making this video today about the magazines. I did one recently about magazines and the suppressors, but I want to put emphasis on these magazines because I had the opportunity to have further conversation with the owner of this company, and I also had the opportunity to experience how far they're willing to go for their customers. And I'm not sponsored by these people. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm not being paid by them. I'm not being compensated by them. This is an unbiased, completely 110% unbiased review. If I were being compensated, I would absolutely tell you. So the only compensation is I told him I would send him a T-shirt from my company because he sent me one from his. I'm being that honest with you. So I want to go over these stud. Their Magloader company came up with these magazines. So I just want to show these to you. And so what happened is I ordered two 22s and two 25s. I already had a 30, right? I before that I had ordered one of each from Stud, and these are them, right? And I ordered these, and this is going to go right on my gun box. I ordered these two, and by the way, they send these with gummy bears in there, which I already ate them all. But anyways, they sent me these, right? And he immediately was willing to take them back if I didn't want them. And he's like, I've never had a return. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to be your first because I have the 30 caliber. I know the quality of your product. I'm not going to be your first return. I'm going to keep them. So that being said, I got those on time. I got these on time from another company. I'm going to show you a quick comparison with, first of all, how they're lined up in the back. Now, this is the OEM FX magazine. This is the Iguana Hunter magazine. And this is the Stud magazine. So you can see the slug is not exactly lined up straight here. Here it's actually better in the FX, honestly. But this one, Doug's has a perfect. It's perfectly aligned, and you can feel it when you engage the slug into the barrel. You can feel how easily it slides in. It's flawless. And I have pellets in this one, and look how perfectly the pellet lines up. I mean, they line up absolutely perfect. But more importantly than any of that, I mean, not more importantly because that's really important, but I mean, so these have the rear earth magnets. They work extremely well. You know, I mean, you can literally just like throw it on. Well, not that far, but anyways, there it is. So this is the important part. Listen to that. There's no friction. This is why the FX magazines are having a problem indexing. You hear that? Now listen to this. That is Doug's design of having a ball bearing in the center of this. And that alone, even if there wasn't as much spring tension as there is, the fact that it's so damn smooth, you could put, if you could fit them, you could put 60 grain 22s. In the 30 cal, I have put 69 grain 30 cal. I'll show them to you. 69 grain 30 caliber slugs. 69 grain. I have shot these out of that magazine. No problem. No problem at all. It indexes them perfectly. My normal size for 25 caliber, which is my favorite caliber, is a 48 grain. Sometimes I do 50s, but I prefer 48. My guns are set for 48. So that being said, now I'm gonna be in this competition at Sig Sauer tomorrow. Essentially, it is tomorrow now. So I called Doug, the owner of this company, yesterday, and I asked him. I said, Doug, I decided to go with 30 caliber for the bench rest, and I only have 130 caliber of your magazines. Could you possibly send me a couple and get them here in time for the and this is through a text, and I got to tell you, he texted me back in less than 1 minute. Like, he immediately texted me back, and now the next morning, what do I get? Another stud box with another gummy bear and two 30 caliber magazines and a stud magazine t-shirt. So as I said, I'm going to send him one of my Carhartt shirts from my company, but he sent me a stud Magloader magazine, shirt, which was very, very thoughtful of him, because he's been a really great guy to deal with, and I'm extremely pleased with the company, which is why I'm sharing this with you guys, because even these magazines, I have trouble. I'll show you actually, because I can show you better than I can tell you. I'm gonna grab one of his, and look at this. I just dropped a full 25 caliber magazine. Didn't even pop open. So that goes to show you the strength of the magnets. Let me just clear some stuff out of my way. Actually, I'm gonna need the tripod for this. I'm trying to do more close-ups because it was mentioned to me. Like I said, I appreciate those comments. So just keep them coming so that I can make sure that I'm improving on these videos as I continue to do them. Okay. So this is the Iguana Hunter magazine. I'm gonna let you see how it is when I install this. Okay, so actually that snapped in faster than it usually does. It must be wearing in. But this is like, so once I line it up, yeah, so you got to push it up a little. It was harder at first. I guess it's wearing in. But this, from day one, I mean, it's as easy as the original. You just find the slot, boom, it's clicked in. And watch this. It's so easy. It's it indexes absolutely perfect. I mean, I'm going to show you another close-up, because after I fire, I want you to see just how fast this magazine will index as I fire. Every time I pull that handle back, it immediately is shifting to the next slug. Immediately. No hesitation. It's just so smooth operating. The only magazine that I think is out there that could even come close to this is that one that Ernest Rowe and whatever Bullet Central came up with recently. But I'm going to say again, like I did in the last video, Ernest Rowe seems to me, I've never met the man or spoken to the man, so I'm making assumptions essentially, but based on my experience with human behavior and knowing how people are from a short experience with them, because I'm in the type of industry that I need to be able to do that. I think he's an incredible airgun technician, and I think he's very knowledgeable with air guns. But I don't think he's a machine, like a machinist. I don't think he's the type of. I don't think he's a creator or a developer. I think he may be in that category with air guns, but with magazines and general machining and making parts and things like that, I don't think that's his forte from what I can tell. I think he's very good at testing and troubleshooting and things like that. But as far as creating, this is the type of guy that is a creator, because I'm that type of guy. And, I know one when I see one because I am one. So it's nice to speak to someone like that and have the experience of meeting someone like that who started a company that's in an industry that I love, that is one of my favorite things to do, and created the best that I've seen so far, in one category of that, industry. So as the only one that could possibly compare is that Ernest Rowe one I said, because I've seen what it looks like inside. It does have a ball bearing, but I have a feeling that Doug had that idea before them. I don't know that for sure, but his came out before them. So I mean, draw your own conclusions. But anyways, the point is that you see how many magazines I have of his, right? Because when I go to this competition tomorrow, these are not coming with me. These are not coming with me. These, and these are coming with me. I don't even need those magazines, nor do I want to bring them. I don't want to waste the space in my cases with those magazines. This is the only magazine I'm going to be shooting with. And it's the only magazine and I'm not being paid to say this. I can't emphasize this enough. This is a completely unbiased opinion. And my opinion is that these are by far the best magazines I've seen. And as you can see, I've tried a handful of them, and I've seen several others. And I mean, just how smooth that is just remarkable. It really is. It's those ball bearings, and that is, again, like I said on the last video, when somebody creates something like that, it's worth noting. And when somebody is willing to go out of their way like he did today, or yesterday rather, to get me these by today, that's also worth noting, because that type of an owner of a company that is literally going to text you back immediately. I mean, you're not on hold waiting for some automated machine to send you to somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. You're talking to the owner of the company who made and developed and created and made these magazines and the loaders, which are very impressive. The only reason I don't have them is because I don't use pellets. I'm using them obviously for the bench rest because I don't have a choice. But aside from that, I don't use pellets. But the point of all this is that the owner of the company just literally contacted me back in 1 minute via text, and immediately was like, okay, put the order in right now. I'll have it shipped out, and you'll have it tomorrow morning. And he did exactly that. No having a call. Why didn't you overnight it? Blah blah blah. It was just done, and it was very impressive. I have to say, I was very impressed, and I'm kind of blown away by his passion for this, because he's the way that I first ended up communicating with him was when I had ordered the first two of each of these. I went to go and cancel the order of the one of each of the others, which I'm glad that I didn't. And when I went to cancel it, he immediately replied that they had already been sent out. And I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but that's happened to me a number of times, where it's convenient that you've been waiting. Like, for instance, I was waiting on a couple of things from one company, right? And they hadn't sent it out all week. And then I order another part, and then I go to cancel that part. But immediately when I go to cancel that part, it's been sent out. after not being sent out for a week. And this is like the same day. So it seemed like one of those situations, but I soon found out that it absolutely wasn't, because he called me and he was quite upset, because he was quite offended, because he thought that me thinking that was that offensive. So he is that passionate about what he does, and that's, in my book, that's fucking admirable. Excuse my language, but it's really admirable, and it's really few and far between and very hard to find these days, because I'm that way with what I do, and I don't see it in too many other people. And when I do, it's worth making note of, which is why I'm doing this video, because I'm impressed, and I am a little taken back by just how passionate he is, and the quality of these magazines just shows it. It really does. I mean, I'm one more time, just because like I can't get enough of this. There is not one bit of friction. Like there's no plastic touching plastic, nothing. There, not one bit. And then look at the FX. Listen to that. It's no wonder why they're not indexing, because they're rubbing against the plastic. Let's try the iguana hunter. Wow, it's actually stuck now. Okay. It's getting stuck again. I've had a lot of problems with these, honestly, but you hear all that friction, all that plastic on plastic? That's why they don't index properly. And this is made flawlessly. There's no sound. There's no sound at all. The only sound is the magazine slapping back to where it's supposed to be. And the 22s line up perfectly too. I mean, look, that's the dead center. Look at the next. That's the next one right there. Boom. It's right where it's supposed to be. These were very well designed, and you can tell that he spent his career in machining and creating things, because he created the perfect magazine for this gun. And I hope that they venture out into other guns, because I have a Crown. Obviously, the Western Rattler doesn't have a magazine. And then I have a Pantera, and I have a couple of AEAs, and then, you know, the rest are firearms. But the Pantera, I would love to see that magazine for this, because I have the Iguana Hunter magazine for this, and this magazine sticks in this gun so bad. I mean, not like the Impact one did, because that one wasn't so bad. It was a little more sticky than it was today, but this one is still ridiculous. See, now that's the stock one. It comes right in and out, right? So I've got to shove it in like that, right? And then when I have to literally, I'm yanking the whole gun and the whole table around to get it out. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. And I tried to put the Crown magazine in here, and it was so loose that was useless. It's just, there's just no winning. There's no winning with that magazine. I know other people have had better experience than me, and I'm glad that you guys have. I just haven't had good experience with those Iguana Hunter magazines, and I wish I had, because I actually spoke to him. Well, didn't speak to him. I communicated with him via email, and I like the guy. He seemed like a nice guy, and I don't want to not like his magazines, but I'm just calling it how I see it. I mean, I'm just calling it how it is, and giving you guys honest answers like I always do and would want myself. As you guys can see, I got these guns shooting pretty damn hard and unbelievably consistent, like within 1 foot per second each shot. and unbelievably accurate. These are 5x5 and competition ready. But this gun, with a lot of help from Doug at Stud Magloaders, because I am absolutely blown away by their product, and I highly recommend it to anybody who owns an Impact, because if you're using any other magazine, you're missing out. That's the bottom line. There's just no two ways about that. All right, so that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to share my experience with them as a company, and with their product, and with the owner as an owner and a creator, because he thoroughly impressed me. So I took the time to do this video because I thought it was worth doing. And I'm going to do another one after the competition and let you guys know how it went using those Magloader magazines, those Stud magazines, because those are the only magazines I'll be shooting from in my Impact, for sure.